white man didn't free me. God made me free. But shout out to Mojo for what he said, because the holiday says, I acknowledge the Black Holocaust, but I don't want to give you what's owed to your people. I looked it up before I came here, JB. I see that the Holocaust survivors got reparations. Japanese Americans got reparations. The Native Americans got reparations. The Tuskegee men with the experiments that went on, they got reparations. Why can every group of people get reparations but us? Black people, happy Juneteenth. Is this really something to celebrate? Is this, I'm happy for us. My ancestors paved the way. I agree with Tyler Perry. There's footprints on the water of the slaves that were brought over here. But it's funny how we want Diddy to go to jail for human trafficking. You want to see him hung, but we're just cool with a holiday. Black people, I agree with Mojo, bro. We look like fools out here. Motherfuckers are playing in our face, giving us holidays to eat a pecan pie. And keep this in mind. The holiday is for you to spend more of your black dollars. And this is the thanks we get. Appreciate it, JB.
King.
And I want to apologize to Mojo. I did not know he owned the house last night. I got love for him.
Oh, hey, we all good. We all good. I heard what you said. I appreciate your perspective, and I think we're in about 85% agreement with the things that you just said. So, respect.
I gotta leave for about 10-15 minutes, guys. You want to be civil?
Roger that. King, I just gotta correct you on something you said. The slavery, the redlining, the Jim Crow, that's not what created the black ghetto and the conditions that black people were under when black excellence in America started going down. You're talking about the Great Society Act under LBJ. I've got 6 photo albums from my grandmother that has pictures from my great-grandfather's generation in Detroit. Right, my family's from Detroit. They migrated up to Detroit from the South to work at the
Michael Jordan, you are not.
Automotive factories. I got 6 photo albums from
not.
the 30s, from the 40s, from the 50s.
Oh my God.
Black neighborhoods in Detroit, beautiful homes, manicure lawns, nice cars, blacks well groomed and manicured and dressed in that era. If you've ever been to Detroit, go down Grand Boulevard, go down Woodward, go down Grand River. You'll see the homes that blacks in mass occupied and how beautiful, and you can imagine how beautiful, even though a lot of them are dilapidated, but you can imagine how beautiful and see the structures of these solid brick homes and how huge they are. So even during Jim Crow and redlining, all that bullshit, we have tons of evidence that blacks weren't living in these dilapidated ghetto conditions, man. Black excellence was actually a thing during some of those most racist periods because black people were lifting themselves up and working and building their neighborhoods. It was under LBJ and the Great Society Act. That's when the shit started falling.
But Sick, are you saying that because you have evidences of black people succeeding, that his point is inaccurate? So, yeah, black people are resilient. Black people have pushed through. There's wonderful families that have had opportunity, and that's always the case, right? But are you refuting his information on the premise that you have anecdotal data of the success of black people?
Well, it's not anecdotal. Like I said, you can drive down Grand Boulevard, you can drive down Grand River, you can drive down Woodward Avenue in Detroit, and you can see. And you go to the Detroit Historical Museum on Woodward there over in Wayne State University District. Dude, it's not anecdotal. The evidence is there. I've seen it with my own eyes, and tons of Detroiters and Michiganders have seen it with their own eyes.
No, but anecdotal means you saw it with your own eyes. But I'm saying it's not a comprehensive and critical analysis of the reality. King doesn't need no defense. He's more articulate than me in some regard, but he's speaking to a more critical analysis of how we got here systemically or systematically. So you're just saying that there's black success. Both of those things can be true at the same time. That there's always going to be a remarkably successful story of our culture surviving. I think this culture is one of the most resilient cultures in history. But I'm saying I don't think you're speaking against his point necessarily. Do you disagree that those issues that he described didn't contribute to the demise of communities? But these things are comprehensive and multi-layered. What I said was, to me, just as relevant in terms of how the jobs that you're speaking on, Sig, those jobs dried up. Those factory jobs and those factories left the country, and people were left literally unemployed with no jobs and trying to figure it out for whatever it's worth. Do you not agree, Sig?
I don't agree entirely, CO, because what I saw is once those jobs dried up, that's when the Great Society Act came in and said, hey, we'll give you projects, we'll give you free food. Well, Uncle Sam will pretty much be the father and the man and the husband of the home. And that's when we fell for the okey doke, and then that's when you started seeing a huge downfall. But during these most racist periods, Jim Crow, redlining, I see nothing but evidence, CO, that blacks still fucking survived through it and actually built some really great fucking communities. You know, it's just that welfare came in right as those jobs started leaving, and that's what took the place, you know, of us saying, hey, let's find something else constructive to do, even though it sucks what's happened, but we can still rebuild after this.
I mean, let's spread it beyond the mods. I think Conscious may be up next, but one question. And King, I don't disagree with your point. I for whatever was very good, bad, and different. But are you familiar with? I didn't want to go into the specifics of meetings and the alleged letters that happened that literally shifted the context of what black music was doing for the exploitation of other things and street products. I was speaking to how we got here. That this is not where our culture just landed. What's your opinion on the history of that shift that happened in the late 80s, early 90s?
So you know, it's a lot of lying going on out here too, bro. And shout out to the brother, my pops from Detroit. He can't tell me about Detroit. You can't tell me about Joy Road and Linwood. You can't tell me Detroit ain't burnt down and fucked up, and there's a lot of abandoned homes, and it's been that way a long time. Okay, certain brothers want to deny the history, but yet they talk about redlining. What is redlining? Just the fact that redlining exists proves why the ghetto is here. What is redlining? You have to look that up. Anyway, let me get back to CEO now. CEO, it's a lot of propaganda going on, brother. Me and my brother signed a Def Jam for $500,000. We was rapping about the ghetto because we was in it. No white man made me rap that shit. A lot of the white boys, matter of fact, a lot of the Jewish guys, when we went to New York City, they really loved me being more lyrical than being dumbed down. The same white guy signed me, signed an artist called Big Crit. Right? Signed Big Crit, signed Joey Badass, a guy called Nipsey Hussle. They actually like the MCing. So I think that a lot of the MCs are just rapping their environment. This is what's going on, bro. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, to make it seem as if white people sent some secret message out. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I would love to talk to Bone Thugs about this too. I got to bring them on the show. Like, even with Bone Thugs and Harmony, it's like, you mean to tell me a white man wrote a letter and made you start rapping about St. Clair like it was fucked up, or was Cleveland really fucked up? You get what I'm saying, big dog? I think that the New York artists were costing the label so much money, they start going other places, and people started rapping their reality. Master P's reality is not Rakim's reality. Eminem was rapping his reality. Nobody sent Eminem a letter and said, dog, you got to rap about being white trash. You get what I'm saying, CO? So for me, I feel like a lot of things are a cop-out, and I feel like we try to blame people. A lot of times we try to, sometimes, I gotta say this, and it's gonna hurt my heart to say this, sometimes we unfairly blame white people for shit that we just wanna do. She just wanna twerk her ass. She didn't get a letter to twerk.
Wait, did you see that Leo Cohen interview on Breakfast
Yeah,
Club?
I seen it, absolutely.
Okay, so it's not necessarily, and I'm just repeating what Ice Cube basically said, it's not that though that these white, lack of a better word, white record executives are writing down, are grabbing the pen of the artist. It's that back then there was no internet, so there was only a certain gatekeepers who would allow what was coming from the streets to actually make it to the airwaves and then influence the culture on a broad level. It's one thing when you're listening to Drake songs that you didn't think you were going to like, and then, oh, fuck, now I like the song because I heard it 50 times. That's what the gatekeepers were able to do. So like Ice Cube said, it wasn't that they had to say, hey, I want you to write about shooting. It's that they would only promote to the airwaves. And then that gets to the other guy who was the preacher who went to Walmart and talked about Rick Ross and said, oh, Rick Ross can say all this stuff about killing and blacks and murders and Palmula, but as soon as Rick Ross said that thing about, something, and she didn't even know it, he lost his Reebok contract. And And when he was talking with the execs from Walmart, they said, "Oh yeah, no, that's unacceptable." He's like, "Oh, what about all these albums you have about killing black people and black people?" He said, "Well," they said, "Well, there's a market for that." So you have to understand that, in my opinion, black people's exploitation and suffering has never stopped being the main cash crop of this country, and they've just manifested it in a way where what pimping does. So like Lil' Kim was like a version of pimping where it's like, oh, let's have her rap in a lower voice and say all the shit about girls that we don't want to say because we'll be called misogynist. But wait, if we have the girlfriend saying, I like girls too, girls are players too, girls are pimps too, then we can pimp out the girls more easily. Or little Nicki Minaj, where she's got the song with Usher where they disrespected that Stevie Wonder sample, and her whole role in that song is to go and get a girl for Usher. I'll let you do this, I'll let you do that. And it's pornography. It's audio pornography. I can jump and I can split it. If I can put the image in your mind, well, I don't need to show you the image. So it's not just like, I mean, I'm sure there were a lot of Jewish people, I'll land right here. I'm sure there were a lot of Jewish people, white people, and all different types of people that wanted the best lyricism to come out of that. But when you are honest about the gatekeepers and then what it turned into as far as NWA and that kind of stuff, I think it's kind of undeniable to say that there was a larger white supremacist culture that steered.
So for me, I own a promo company. Brothers come to us with the paper. He go 50,000, put me on radio. Brothers is taking dope money and going to the radio. They invest in their bread. Now my thing is, I grew up with white people before I moved around all black people. My life journey is different. When we grew up around white people, Ozzy Osbourne was biting the heads off fucking pigeons. We grew up to Insane Clown Posse, two white boys from Detroit that was talking about murdering everybody. Nirvana, Teen Spirit, Alanis Morissette, who's talking about, isn't it ironic? I didn't even realize what she was talking about at first. It's a very sad song. I liked it, but I started listening to it one day. Damn, what is she really talking about? Isn't it ironic? All of this shit happened. You know what I'm saying? Rock and roll, Marilyn Manson. What are we talking about? Man, I was with white folks sleeping in the fucking cemetery. We was doing some dark shit. So sometimes I think that we make, sometimes we sensationalize and magnify, black things way higher than we do white people. I think metal and all of this shit was adding to demonic shit, right? Metal music, and I like some metal music. I look at Kurt Cobain, one of the greatest artists from Nirvana. If you look up the lyrics to Teen Spirit, look up, what they're saying. So, to be honest with you, CL, we were just rapping where we was from, dog.
Oh no,
we ain't know no better, dog. I'm gonna keep it real. My father a minister, bro. You know what I'm saying? He from Detroit. My mom a teacher from Ohio, my dog. But my dad a street cat who turned his life around. Here I come from Ohio around all these white people, a few black families. I moved to Montgomery, and I was embraced by black people. And
what part of Ohio, King?
When I seen my dog, you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day,
what part of Ohio?
Yeah. I'm from Ohio originally. Then I moved to Montgomery.
What part?
Yeah.
What part?
Wyndham, Ohio. I was born in Warren, Ohio.
Oh yeah. I'm a Cleveland Browns fan. We'll rock with Cleveland.
Okay. Yeah. So CL, we were just rapping where we was from, bro. It wasn't trying to glorify it, but it's like we didn't know no more. We didn't know no better. We in the trap house, niggas selling dope to white women. You know what I'm saying? We in the trap, dog. Like, I don't know what we want these kids to rap about. And I'll be honest with you, CL. I think if you look at the news, are the stories positive? I think America has an infatuation with crime. I really think, listen, the news is all bad. You mean to tell me there's nobody doing anything positive in America? Nobody wants to hear that shit, bro. Some of us do. Because I still bump De La Soul with Nas, and I got a song with AZ and Scarface. You know what I'm saying, CO? But I just don't, for some reason, bro, we're infatuated with crime, bro. Even me at night, sometimes I be watching cop shows, and I'm watching police arrest people that's doing bank fraud. You feel me, CO? And I'm like, why am I not watching comedy right now? Sometimes we just like to.
But it's programming, and there are executives that get paid millions of dollars to design what you like. That's why there are 15 different, Law and Order versions. So if you're able to acknowledge that, you kind of didn't acknowledge the point that I made, which is the exact same thing in the music industry.
Not really, bro. You know why it's different? Because this is you want the truth or you want to lie. The truth is this. I can take you as an artist and you can be positive. I can put 50,000 behind you and I can make you number 10 on Billboard tomorrow. It's a money game. A lot of the executives aren't picking you because you're rapping drill music. They're looking at the BDS reports, the media-based reports. This record is doing good. This artist is gaining more followers on Instagram and TikTok. They're doing business. They're not just listening to somebody saying, he's rapping about killing niggas, let's give him $1 million. That's not how business works.
And you've never heard if it bleeds, it leads in the news industry?
No.
Okay, so if it
Brother, I'm telling you, this is my game.
Wait.
You can't tell me my game. I can tell you, like, when you work at, bro, I would never disrespect you like that. I'm telling you, brother, I own a promotional company. I get paid to promote artists. I knew Drake when his investors was getting ready to pull out on him when he did Replacement Girl with Trey Songz. Pull it up, right? We didn't deny Drake. To be honest, there's a lot of people that do like conscious hip hop, but you know what the problem is? A lot of conscious hip hop dudes don't have the money. So if you believe in that artist, put the money behind them. You can buy the radio. Sorry, I hate to say this because the replays is on, but you can buy everything is about promotion, bro. You could buy this shit. I'm just keeping it.
Hey,
but the fact
hey, God, real quick. Hey, God.
Heard if it, yeah.
Hey, let me do this real quick. And King, for whatever it's worth, man, King is spitting the truth, the facts, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth from my observation and my relationship with the music industry. But these things are not mutually exclusive. Both things can be true at the same time. And what you're saying, God, I think we're taking a comprehensive view in the context of culture on this Juneteenth day, for whatever it's worth, discussing a really important issue, which is the influence of our music on the culture, how our music got that way, who it reflects us, because art is supposed to reflect society as a whole. And King brought up some real points that I need to make sure that I stay true with, which is from Tupac to King to Big Crip to Banner to all of these people. They literally were doing what he said. They were rapping, and their art was about their environment and what their environment spoke to them. And that was a powerful art. And that's how art should always be, how that these environments get here. There's systemic ways and systems with the government that include how history is bastardized and demonized cultures in a wrong way to sanitize it for other people. So all of these points are relevant. So I think, God, to lead to you, what you say is true also, man, because even though King, who's very well vested in understanding the industry, but there are and were things at the top that made people invest in certain things, one, and advertisers wouldn't put their labels and their brands associated with things that kill animals or that alienate other cultures or their genders, but the industry and the world is comfortable with black debauchery and crime on every airwave, and that's problematic. If we were really talking about it, is it the person that's on the street corner, or is it the people flying the dope in? If we talk about the dope game, same with music, right? Is it just these people that take our deal to sell their art, or do we hold some people responsible that are investing in and advertising through this thing that has a negative influence? And I think all of these issues need to be
Now, hold on.
Can I jump in really quick? That
was my last point. I know I started something, but yeah, let's go with King, then God, then who said, let me say something.
That's 9. I just want to jump in really quick.
King, Nye, God, hold tight. Let moderators get a couple points, then let's make sure we go to God because he had a point.
The New Yorkers were waking up people. The MCs, be a God. Wake up, black man, do your thing. Flavor Flav was on crack. Sometimes we like to be lied to.
Word.
See, let that marinate in your spirit. I hope you caught that. That wasn't for the slow class. I said it fast. But you get what I'm saying, CO. Sometimes we want to be lied to, bro. A lot of brothers from the bottom was like, I'm not going to lie to you. This was going on. I'm selling crack. What's up? I got a pocket full of songs. Pimp C.
Word up.
Let's talk.
I just want to really quickly.
Now that I could believe.
2 points I just wanted to pour into King right quick, because King, earlier you said, and we've moved past this, but I wanted to address it at the time. You dropped the best bar today, and I think you said the ghetto is the only thing that hasn't been stolen truth. And to your point about crimes, we're infatuated with crimes. Listen, I observe this every day in my work as, I work in media. And I work for multiple outlets, Black-owned and white-owned digital media outlets, and it matters not what the topic is. The stories that get the most hits are crime. And I talk about this with my editors all the time. Why are we as a society so obsessed with crime stories? The crime stories get the biggest response, and it truly needs to be a case study. So I just wanted to say, man, thank you for mentioning that, because I see it every day in my line of work.
Thank you for real.
Okay, let's let God. And who's after God?
Yeah, I'll go. Get conscious.
Okay, let's go God and conscious.
Well, one thing is also just a human thing, because there's a whole bunch of white women that love listening to the murder podcasts and Snapped, and they're all like Jennifer Lopez movies was pushed too far. So that's a human thing, and that's what if it bleeds, it leads. That's why back in the day it was, hey, did you know that your house could be killing you? Tune in at 5, because it scares you, as opposed to, hey, it was a beautiful day. Tune in at 5. That's not going to get you to tune in. It is about marketing and advertising, but once that gets fed to a population, then they just start to like what they like because they get fed it more. That was the whole point. Like you said, you can buy the airwaves. So if you buy the airwaves, you can pay to program people with things that aren't necessarily good for them. So to the point of, they're just rapping about what they know, then that extends to, because they're just a violent type of people. And then it just keeps on going further until you get Keegan saying, well, their culture is twerk culture. So that's why the nuance in what happens at the beginning needs to be addressed before it gets exported out to random white person who has no black friends, who says, oh, look, that's what I see. I see 10 songs about this that are all getting put out by people who aren't either look like them or from their culture. And so that must be what they like. Look, they do that to themselves. So that's the nuance I was trying to point out.
Conscious?
Yeah, no, I was going to keep it short. I just wanted to address some of the stuff that Keegan was saying. I think the issue is that with people like Keegan, they're basically just victims of media propaganda. You understand? They repeat a lot of the stuff that they see in the media, not realizing that, it's like when they bring up crime, they don't realize 70% of the crime in America is committed by white people. He's talking about drugs and alcohol. Alcohol was outlawed in America. It's the white gangs and mobs that fought to get they was trapping alcohol back in the day. The drugs come from them. The media has them thinking that all of the issues in America start with black people. And it's like they don't realize that majority of the issues that it's like, why don't we have there are no why don't white people address issues in the white in the white community? Like there are no articles on white crime. They don't have no articles dealing with, like when he's bringing up rap music. Okay, well, how can you talk about rap music without talking about the effects of rock and roll in the country? Y'all kind of addressed that already. You know what I'm saying? The fact that he don't see a difference, the fact that he sees a difference between the impact of rock and roll, which has been pushing white kids to commit suicide, white kids to get on drugs for fucking decades now, and he think there's no issue with that, but there's an issue with hip hop. It shows the mentality that a lot of people have and the self-accountability on their part. But I learned.
I think you make a good point, man. And anybody else, raise your hand or flash mic if you want to speak, man. But thank you for the good point, Conscious. Thank you, God. King made a good point. Now, thank you for jumping in there for whatever it's worth. And if I could just say, man, listen. At the end of the day, somebody earlier spoke about brute force and the fact of how force impacts or is the only thing that people recognize, man. But it ain't really force, because if you understand history, which is important when you learn from history, no matter how strong the military force, you can't hold a population or a group of people that you conquer without changing the mind of the populace and the people. That's why, for whatever it's worth, historically, they've used religion or other things to try to create a like-mindedness to steal and win the hearts and minds of the people. What am I saying? I'm saying how you influence the mind of a culture changes the culture, the cultural appetite, the social norms. So what we're all saying is there's disparities in how the story on Juneteenth of African American people is taught. So whether it's through the music, through the art, through who invests in the music and the art, through the stories that are told on the news and how the story is told. We know crime is an insatiable appetite is a reality, but are we projecting more black crime? Do advertisers feel more comfortable with black death and black crime than they do with other cultures? We have to be stewards and custodians of how our story is told, because that's what determines, in my humble opinion, how the Keegans of the world that are infected with propaganda treat our children for the future. We really, really have to understand that good, bad, or indifferent, no matter how it got here, what's authentic, what's real, what the music is saying or what it's not saying, how our history is taught in schools, how the media reflects our culture, impacts people. That's why King gets paid the big bucks to promote people, because brand matters. We would be stupid to think on Juneteenth that the brand of our culture doesn't have a direct correlation to how people treat us. I'll land there. Does somebody want to speak on?
Yeah, real quick, because everyone has mentioned my name in every single sermon. But here's the thing, and why this does matter in the context. When everyone says 70% of all crimes are committed by whites, guys, go look up the top 5 safest states in the United States. And then I want you to go look up their demographic. And then I want you to tell me, what are some really, really unsafe cities in America? And I want you to go look at the demographic. White people, we definitely commit the most. We definitely commit crime. I want to make this very clear. We do. The crime is different. And the idea that crime isn't different, the idea that aggravated...
Population density, you're uneducated.
Sure, you can say but the same thing is that when we look at black majority towns, not cities, we don't need to look at cities. They still have completely different crime statistics than white towns, right? And again, I think it's the culture that's been taught. I think it's propaganda. CO is hitting on something. I think it is propaganda, but I think it's the wrong propaganda. You guys say that, well, white crime isn't explained in the media. That the media, all I heard from the media for the past few years is about sex trafficking, about Jeffrey Epstein, right? This is all I heard. I think 3 documentaries have already been made about it, right? That's white crime. You call it Jewish crime, sure, but it's also white crime. Pedophilia is something that white people have tried to deal with. We've created nonprofits. We've created over 10 nonprofits that all are multi-million-dollar nonprofits dealing with sex trafficking in the United States. There's many social media accounts of white people, and go look it up, of Alex Rosen or other white individuals who go and honeypot these individuals, trap them, and then beat them to a living pulp. They're beating pedophiles on the streets. We love it. We praise them to do that. My point is that we don't see the promotion. I don't see white people promoting the bad acts of what white people do, right? Whether that is pedophilia, whether that is alcoholism, I don't see the promotion.
So Keegan, let me stop you really quick. So
let me respond to him.
Okay, hold on a second. And I appreciate, Keegan, you taking this beat down, that you kind of could get the verbal lashing and being spot on, and at least you're objective for whatever it's worth, even with what we perceive as your racist views. But the argument that you make, and then I want to hear the rest of the room respond to this, the argument that you typically make and join others with these statistics seems to imply that black people are just genetically predispositioned to be trifling, right? It's almost like, hold on a second, listen to what I'm trying to say. What you argue most of the time, knowingly or unknowingly, is that, hey guys, you aren't paying attention to the fact that this is a reality. These black people are this, and you guys aren't looking at the facts. What you just said is, look, you owned all white people. Us white people don't do these things. Us white people do these. Us white people's cities are this way, right? And you black people's cities are this. And you black people do this. And you black people do this. What is the actual opinion that you have of black people? How did they come up? How did they become this thing that you hate to see 42 and you don't want to see these movies on TV where all these black people? What is it that you think of black people really?
It's I've explained it, I think, very well, which is it is the culture of inner city ratchet, and it's being promoted. I absolutely agree with you. It is being promoted by the media and by black individuals. And the media, I believe, is owned by Jewish people. So I think that that's actually a really clear distinction that we should be making, and why Jewish people control our media and why are they promoting this to everyone. Because not just black.
I wouldn't blame it on Jewish people either, man. I don't like that either. I'm not
sure. You don't need to blame it on them.
I'm just saying. Hold on a second. You can just say there are Jewish people in the music industry. You can say that, but let's not say all.
Sure. Well, I don't know why
all
the
black
media.
people do this, or all white people. Hold on a second. Keep
But let him
You
finish
gotta let me
his
finish.
thought.
Hold on.
Let him finish his
Let him
thought.
cook, CEO. You own it. You own it. Let him finish.
Yeah, I just came back to Rome. Let him finish his thought.
Okay, go ahead. Finish the thought, Keith.
Yeah. And just 30 more seconds here. Sure, if you don't want to say it's just all Jewish people, I'm not saying it's all Jewish people. I'm just saying the people who own the media are majority Jewish, and they are promoting this behavior. And I think that a lot of black people and white people are done with behavior. The behavior of single motherhood. I mean, the Jeffrey Springer. Like, why? How did he even have a show? Why is Murray still on TV? Right? Like, these individuals just promote degeneracy, and I don't understand why we, as a society, even decide to give it airtime. And my point is that we all agree. It's like we all agree that this is ratchet, that this is ghetto. But for some reason, when I say it, it's this is racist for you to say this. When again, I'm just pointing out that white people, we do not promote the bad things of our communities. We just don't. We don't allow it. We say, okay, if this is happening, we're going to create nonprofits. We're going to create social media accounts where individuals go and beat up pedophiles by the hundreds, right? Like Alex Rosen has, by the hundreds, caught pedophiles and then beat them up on live camera, right? I don't see black people. I don't see black people crazy.
So Keith,
we're gonna find the gangbangers, and we're gonna go and we're gonna freaking beat them to a pulp to show people that this is.
Hold on, I'm gonna jump in here real quick. Listen, Keegan, these little word games that you play might work on retards. In a room full of adults, people can call you out for your dumb shit. And here's the reality: everything that you spit is some sort of racial trope that you've decided that you believe in, and then what you do is you take, hey, maybe I can get them to all agree, because decent people will agree that pedophiles are abhorrent and gang violence is something that we should stand against. And then you say, oh, well, that's my position. I stand against pedophile. Well, how fucking brave of you to stand against the thing that we all fucking stand against. These arguments you make are fucking, like, this is what you expect to get out of a fifth grader, a sixth grader. I would challenge, shut the fuck up while a grown man's talking. I would challenge.
Hold on, Mojo.
Well, hold on.
We gonna have
we are going to have a one mic policy, and you're not going to tell me what the fuck to do. I don't know if you guys fucking know this, but this is my fucking house.
This is his house, bro.
So you guys can chill the fuck out. I know that there's some people that think it's edgy to simp for that kind of rhetoric. And fucking if that's your get up, if you think it's cool to fucking to back up all of the racist tropes that he says, and by the way, I don't care if he says it. I'll protect his right to say it all day fucking long. I'm just challenging this guy to grow up and be an adult and have some talking points that are rational. The fact is that he's buying into the dumbest tropes, the most disprovable fucking points that anybody can argue, and he thinks that by winning people over by saying, hey, we should all stand against pedophiles. Yeah, hey, Keegan, we all stand against pedophiles. Now let's get to the fact that everything else that you say is a racist trope, and you should grow the...
Thanks for disproving none of that.
So I want to talk to Keegan too, CO. I told you heard of Diddy. He's on trial. CO, I need you to hear me. The white man is the remix king. I want you to hear this, CO. Listen to me, the remix. Keegan will sit there and act like black people so ratchet. It wasn't ratchet for white people to take over a fucking country. You scared of me. Motherfuckers grabbing a purse. I don't want to. Hey, yo, CO. Motherfucker grabbed a purse because they think you gonna grab the purse. Motherfucker stole the whole country. And I'm not scared of you. I let you cook. Why is Keegan scared? Brothers pointing the gun on each other when they should be pointing the gun somewhere else. Wait a minute. See, I need you to hear me because I'm a real MC. You got to hear what I'm saying without hearing what I'm saying.
I hear you, bro.
You understand? Motherfuckers should be happy they feel safe. You don't put the piranhas in a fish tank and we're eating each other and you're safe. I think you should stay where you at. You should stay with the white folks. I agree with you, bro. But the thing is, I don't like how you remix shit. Black men are the criminals now? Who's done the most crimes in American history? As they look at black men like we're the boogeyman. What have we done? We sit here with some of our slave masters' children, respecting and loving you. I'm not going to call you a criminal. I'm not going to say it was criminal to take over the world through stealing, killing, right, rape, everything, with the Bible that says thou shalt not kill, steal. The white man done everything they tell a brother not to do. I want you to hear me, CO, because they're going to sound crazy, but I want you to hear me, CO. Everything that some of the white men tell us not to do, they've done it all to take over the country. Then they create laws to make sure they stay in power, because if you do it, your ass going to the penitentiary. Wait a minute, CO. But he's scared of me. Brother, if you come to my house, I'll feed you. If you come to my mama's house, she gonna... You get what I'm saying? Even through the atrocities in the Black Holocaust, there's a lot of black brothers. You go to the crib, bro, they'll feed you real good, bro. It's a lot of young black brothers that if you come to the block, they embrace you. I got some of my black homeboys, hey, they'll get on me about a white boy. Nah, bro, he a real GD, he a real gangster. That boy alone. I'm keeping it real with you. So what I'm saying is, CO, there is validity to what Keegan's saying, but I think sometimes white people have remixed shit so far, they think they're righteous. This is a wicked land we live on, y'all. Come on. I'm sorry, y'all, because I just got to be real. So shout out to Mojo for actually standing up and saying, you know what? I don't like some of the shit you say, Keegan. But you know what I like about Keegan? He's real. And he's right. See, y'all, I want you to hear me. He's right what he's saying about white people. White people don't stand for certain shit. Why do you think they don't like Donald Trump? Because Donald Trump is the white man in the living room who says, I don't give a fuck what none of y'all think about me. This is how I feel like the Mexican needs to go home. Why don't you think some white people don't like Donald Trump? He represents the uncouth white guy that says, I don't give a fuck. This is how I feel. And for me, CO, that's why I like Donald Trump, because he's real. So let Keegan stay, man. Let him cook, man.
Oh, I'm not mad at you. If I can jump in, Mojo, I didn't know who you were. I apologize.
So we're all good. When I moved you, I didn't realize who you were. I didn't see the whole name. So we're good.
Okay, cool.
Who's that? Kate?
That was Conscious.
Oh, Conscious. Okay, who was up next? Hey, first of all, yeah, this is good conversation, man. It is. Hey, Keegan, with all due respect, man, here's one thing I embrace that King said, man. Who you are, Keegan, it's like this, man. Let me just say this really quick, and then let me know who's next. I'm only going to take 30 seconds.
Thank God.
When I'm
I'll do a reset after you.
Okay, when I'm talking to let's say even my sisters, man, you know, black women, and I disagree with on her some part of her mentality around independence. I'll tell a sister in a minute, man. My argument is not with you. I'm arguing through you with the subjugation of the people that came before you. I'm arguing with the subjugation of your grandmama's grandmama's grandmama because it's infected you, right? So what I'm saying is, we don't understand that all of us, to some extent, all of us are victims of some BS propaganda. Because from history to media to art to how these stories are told in the news, man, most of us don't realize how influenced we are by things that we don't even have any control over. So when I talk to Keegan, not trying to be funny, Keegan, I'm hearing your granddaddy's KKK roll through your voice. I don't even think it's necessarily you, because you literally, in an ignorant, not pejorative ignorance, but literal ignorance, I feel like you don't know sometimes how you sound or how other people reflect your views, just like Mojo was saying. So I know you don't think it. You think this is just something that you just came out of the room and you made up all on your own, man. But we're all subject to the influences of our environment. These are not genetic dispositions that we had at the womb. I'll just land it there and say all of this is about reshaping our mind. That's why the crux of most religion and spirituality centers around the concept to some extent of repentance. Even in the Christian usage of the word, it actually doesn't mean what we use it to mean. It means, it comes from the Greek meaning matauai, which means to put the old mind behind you, which means to change your mind. So anything and everything that we can do to change the mind of the collective, man, the better society we have. These conversations are part of that. Go ahead, Nah.
Okay, quick room reset, just really quickly, if you just came in the room. Healthy Debates, Mojo's on stage, aka Roger. This is his house for those who don't know. Some of y'all come in, you're new to the space, you might not see him often. You always say JB, you see JB, but Mojo's actually the godfather of this house. JB the other mods feel like we need to start a queue. And I'll land here. Please don't burn down my Starbucks or take my black card. I'm not defending Keegan, but I agree. I have observed myself. Other cultures do not, or was it King who said this? One of y'all said this. Other cultures do not celebrate and elevate the ratchets of their culture. Black folks seem to do this, and for the slow